something happened. Maybe it was during a meditation. Maybe it was a quiet moment between one thing and the next. Maybe it was so brief you almost dismissed it. A second, 2 seconds, where the old version stepped aside and something else came forward. Something steadier. Something that did not need to calculate or compare or brace. You felt it. And then the day continued and the old patterns came back, and part of you started to wonder, was that real? Was that shift actually something? Or was it just a feeling that passed through and left nothing behind? I want to answer that question for you this morning, clearly and completely. It was real. What you felt was not a meditation experience. It was not a temporary emotional state generated by background music and a calm voice. It was a genuine moment of coherence. Your nervous system, your heart, and your identity briefly aligning at the same frequency. And when that alignment happens, even for 2 seconds, it leaves a mark, a trace, a new neural pathway that did not exist before that moment. The problem is not that the shift was not real. The problem is that one moment of coherence, however genuine, cannot compete with years of the opposite. Years of the old identity being reinforced by habit, by morning routine, by the automatic program that starts running before you are even fully awake. One session opens the door. This session walks you through it and then removes the door entirely, so there is no going back. Close your eyes. Let the world outside wait. Take one slow breath in through your nose, drawing the air all the way down, feeling the belly expand, the ribs widen, the throat soften, and breathe out long and complete, letting the exhale carry out everything you brought with you from the night, from yesterday, from the version of yourself you are in the process of leaving behind. Again, breathe in and breathe out. One more, the deepest breath yet, and release all the way out, feeling yourself land fully in this moment. Good. You are here. The part of you that knows something shifted is here. The part of you that wants to make that shift permanent is here. And they are both waiting for what comes next. Bring your awareness to your chest. Place your hand there. Feel the warmth beneath your palm, the faithful rhythm of a heart that has been keeping its beat through every version of you. The anxious version, the doubting version, the version that almost gave up, and the version that kept going anyway. And now, this version, the one that felt something shift and came back to deepen it. Your heart never changed its rhythm based on which version of you was operating. It simply continued. It was always broadcasting the same signal. I am here. I am alive. I am capable of more than I have been given credit for. Feel that signal now, not as a thought, as a physical warmth spreading from the center of your chest outward. Let it be slightly warmer than the last time you felt it, slightly more certain, slightly more settled, because you have been here before now. Your body has a memory of this place, and memory makes return faster, easier, more complete. The second time is always shorter than the first. Now I want you to do something that the first session could not do because you had not yet felt what you have now felt. I want you to find the old identity, not to fight it, not to shame it, not to perform some dramatic release of it, simply to see it clearly, perhaps for the first time, from outside rather than inside. Imagine the old version of yourself standing a few steps away. Not a frightening image, just familiar. The version that wakes up calculating. The version whose first morning thought is a measurement of how far behind it is. The version that watches other people's lives and decides it is losing by comparison. The version that works hard but never quite believes it deserves what the hard work is building toward. Look at this version with compassion. They were not wrong to be the way they were. They were intelligent. They adapted to the conditions they were given. They developed every habit and fear and defense mechanism for a reason that once made complete sense. And now you can see something about them that they could not see from the inside. They were protecting themselves from a danger that no longer exists. The scarcity they were bracing against is not your present reality. The failure they were anticipating has not arrived. The unworthiness they were defending against was never true. It was a conclusion drawn from evidence that was always incomplete. They did their best with what they knew, and they brought you here, to this morning, to this meditation, to this moment where you are choosing something different. Take a breath, and as you exhale, imagine thanking this old version, not a dramatic farewell, just a quiet, genuine acknowledgement. Thank you for protecting me. Thank you for getting me here. You can rest now. And as you breathe in again, feel the new version step forward. Not a fantasy version, not a perfect version with a life that photographs beautifully and never experiences difficulty. The real new version, the one who has simply, fundamentally, shifted their relationship with themselves. This version wakes up differently, not because their circumstances changed overnight, because their baseline changed. Their first morning thought is no longer a measurement. It is a recognition. I am here. I have another day. Something good is possible today. Not because it is guaranteed, but because they have stopped spending their morning energy closing themselves to the possibility. This version does not move through the day, performing for an invisible audience. They simply move from what they know, what they value, who they are. Not who they are trying to convince people they are, but who they actually are in their own quiet company when nobody is watching and nothing needs to be proven. Their relationship with money is different, not because they have more of it necessarily, but because they are no longer contracting around the fear of not having it. They hold financial reality with more steadiness, more trust, less grip. Their relationship with time is different. They no longer feel late, not because they are ahead of a schedule, but because they have released the schedule that was never real, the one that said they should be further along by now, the one that compared their chapter 3 to someone else's chapter 20. Their relationship with themselves is the most different of all. There is a gentleness here, a quiet respect that the old version could never quite access. They speak to themselves the way they would speak to someone they love and want to see succeed. They give themselves the benefit of the doubt they have always freely given to others. Feel this version now, not as a vision outside of you, but as something settling into you, into your posture, into your breath, into the quality of your presence in this room, on this morning, in this body that is the only one you will ever have and is more than adequate for the life you are building. Let these truths move through you now, not as affirmations to repeat, as recognitions your body is making permanent. I am not the person I was when the old program was running. That version served its purpose, and I release it with genuine gratitude. The shift I felt was real, and it is deepening right now, in this breath. My identity is not determined by my history. It is determined by what I choose to inhabit right now. And right now I choose this. I am the version who moves through difficulty without being defined by it. I am the version who receives without guilt, gives without depletion, and trusts without needing everything to be certain first. I am the version who began the shift, stayed in the shift, and is making the shift permanent. Let those words dissolve into the nervous system, into the subconscious that has been listening to every word of this practice, updating its operating instructions, replacing old code with new code, old identity with new identity, old morning with this one. Now feel your 3 anchors, your chest, warm, open, certain. This is where the new identity lives. Return here whenever the old one tries to speak louder. Your feet, grounded, present, connected to the earth that has been holding you through every version of yourself without preference. Return here whenever life to pull you out of this morning's alignment and back into comparison and calculation. Your breath, slow, complete, the one constant throughout every identity you have ever inhabited. Return here whenever you need to remember that below every version of yourself, there is simply this awareness breathing, steady, real, and entirely yours. Chest, feet, breath, 3 anchors, 1 practice. 21 mornings of returning to them, and the new identity becomes unshakable. Take one final deep breath in, drawing into your body every bit of what shifted here today, the warmth, the clarity, the permanent anchoring of the version of you that felt something real and chose to make it more real. Morning by morning, breath by breath, until there is simply no space left for the old version to occupy. Hold it gently at the top and release slowly, completely, feeling yourself fully arrive, not just in your body, not just in this room, but in your new identity, the one that is no longer visiting during meditation and leaving when the video ends, the one that is staying. Bring your awareness back gently now. Feel your fingers, your toes. Hear the sounds around you, ordinary and beautiful. And before you open your eyes, feel one thing. You did not come to this series by accident. Something in you knew the shift was possible before you had any evidence it was. That knowing is the most important thing you have. It was right. The shift was real. And this morning, you made it permanent. Open your eyes. You are not the same person who pressed play on the first video in this series. That person was hoping for change. You are the person the change happened to, and you are the person keeping it. Type, "The shift is permanent," in the comments if something anchored in you this morning. That is not a wish. That is a declaration. And declarations made from genuine felt experience, not performance, are the ones that hold.